All right, boys. Little 5-mile tempo run out here on the Grapevine trails. Sorry I didn't record anything last week. My schedule has been so busy with this running after work, trying to get in like 40 miles a week. I basically get off work, come home and go for a run, and then get home and take a shower, eat supper, read my Bible, and go to bed. This week right here is my last big week of training. So I'm like 3 weeks and a couple days out. So I'm shooting for, roughly 40 miles this week. And then I'll drop down to about somewhere between 20 and 30 next week. And then probably 10 miles the week before the race. And then the week of, I'll do some walks. Just take Blue for a few walks and maybe do some like very easy sprints and like strides, just to keep the leg turnover there. Because I'm finding that if I don't run fast and I only run slow miles, I forget what it feels like to run fast. So I want to keep the speed in my legs, keep the poppiness, the quickness there. So the week of, I'll probably do some like, 20-second strides, just open up to like a 6-minute pace, very easy, just kind of glide, maybe even like 400-meter sprint pace. But instead of holding that for a minute and 10 seconds, we're just gonna do it for 20 seconds. Just keep the legs moving, keep them feeling quick, get the feeling of a fast turnover back in my legs, and get me primed for this 50-miler. So I did 8 miles last night. I did 5 on the trails today. This is probably my fastest 5 miles on the trails. Very tough run on these hills. I don't know how the rest of the week is going to plan out, but I think I'm going to go for like a 15 to 20 mile run this Saturday. That'll be my last big run. Gonna go pick up some trekking poles either tonight or tomorrow and give those a try, because I guess I'm probably gonna use some poles on this 50-miler. I didn't plan on it, but I was like, what the heck, man. It'll probably help me get a faster time. I'm sure there's gonna be other people out there, and this is my first ultra, so, well, probably second ultra, but might as well use the poles. This is going to be a pretty hilly course. The nerves are starting to set in. Part of me feels great, like I'm ready to run the 50-miler. I did a 20-mile training run like a week or two ago, and I could have done 30 easy that day. So some days I'm like, dude, let's go. Like, I could go out there this weekend and do it. But then another part of me is a little worried, because this is the end of the training block. And, I kind of have to ask myself, have I put in enough work? Because I can't pick up enough fitness in the next 3 weeks to make up for anything that I might have left on the table. So there's a slight fear factor of, did I do enough? Kind of battled some like injuries and stuff that prevented the mileage from getting as high as I wanted to throughout the week. Just nervous, man. I had a dream last night, so it's only Tuesday, so I've still got quite a while to go, but it's only Tuesday, and I had a dream last night that I was on the trail, and as soon as I show up to the starting line, I realized I forgot my water bottles for my vest. I left them at home, so I didn't have any water bottles in my pack. And then on every loop, every lap, the loops would change, so you'd have to go like on a different trail. And so like I kept getting lost and having to ask people where to go and backtracking, and it was a nightmare. And so I woke up at like 3 o'clock this morning, almost sweating. I was like, dude, where am I supposed to be? And then I realized I was in bed. So got a lot longer for the nerves to build up, but There is, let's see, 13 miles so far this week. It's Tuesday. I took Sunday off. Probably take Friday off and then hit a big run Saturday. But I'm gonna go pick up some poles and then maybe go to the gym tonight for potentially the last leg session. So I'll catch you guys later. All right, boys, it is a Thursday afternoon. Got some nice weather today, up in the 60s. I hit pretty good. Actually, it was a pretty small squat session Tuesday. Took 135 for like a 4x10 and then did 225 for a set of 5. And I wasn't feeling very strong Tuesday because I had ran a very hard 5 miles right before that on some trails. So the legs were just kind of taxed. And then I did 2 sets of sled pushes and sled pulls. And that was all I did. That was Tuesday, and it's now Thursday, and the legs are sore, man. But I'm sitting at, I think, 17 miles this week right now. So I'm gonna go for a 3-mile run tonight, and depending on how bad I hurt once I get out here and get started, I might make today a little speed work session. Do like half-mile easy, half-mile hard, half-mile easy, half-mile hard. And then I'll take tomorrow off. And then Saturday, got a big 20-miler planned, 15 to 20 miles. All right, boys, let me clean my camera. Maybe that's better. Scratch the 800s or the half-mile repeats. I wanted to do some quicker stuff, so I did quarter-mile repeats today. I think I averaged about a 6:10 on the fast splits. So I did quarter mile easy, quarter mile hard, quarter mile easy, quarter mile hard. I was taking about 3 minutes on the slow ones, and then right around 115, 130s, maybe a little quicker than 130s on the quick ones. My average pace was a 6:10 for the quick ones. What can I say? Then I did a half-mile recovery jog after that, so got in 3.5 miles tonight. Putting in the work. Like I said, got a 20-mile run planned here in 2 days, and hey, pretty well the work's been put in. Just gotta hope for the best, train for the best, and pray for the best. Just putting in that work, boys. Speed felt good. I really focused on turnover tonight, and then my last quarter mile, hard quarter mile, was uphill. So my heart rate had got up to 198, 199 during that. I was heaving, buddy. I was hurting, but part of it. That's what it takes to get better, and so you just gotta keep showing up. Catch you guys on the 20-miler. All right, boys, it is Saturday afternoon. This morning, hey Sally. This morning was a mock race day. I woke up, ate my race breakfast, about 3 or 4 eggs, some sourdough bread, and some honey, and put on the same race fit. Tried to make everything as similar to what my race day is going to look like. And then I went and ran a 25-mile training run on the race loop this morning. Was originally planning to do about 20, and then somewhere on the course I was like, hey man, let's do 25, and if I can run half of it, that'll at least give me a pretty good time frame on what I'm looking at on race day for when I finish. So I did 25 miles in right at 5 hours, which is going to put me at finishing 50 miles in 10 hours if I can maintain that pace. I started feeling some more fatigue than I would like to admit, but you know, this is wrapping up now a 45-mile week. So this is a peak, probably my peak mileage week. And I don't know, man. I definitely, like, no doubt could have got to 30. I'm pretty confident that I can run 50 miles. It's just, can I do it fast enough? You know, I've got a 12-hour time limit. So, you know, what are them last, 20, 15, what are them last 10 miles going to look like? How much am I going to have to walk on those? I tested out some trekking poles today. Those things are an absolute necessity. I was kind of running with them for like the first 3 or 4 miles, and I was not really a fan of it until, I started walking some more of the hills, and then I saw, the power in those trekking poles, man. Those things actually make a pretty big difference. Even on, just walking like a slight uphill. Keep that trekking pole pointed back behind you, and you basically just, swing your arms like normal, and just let that pole drag on the ground, and then it'll bite when you swing your hand back. And, just the weight of your arm swinging is enough to, put a little extra pep in your step. So the trekking poles are definitely going to be a necessity on the race day. Look at Sally. Sally Bug. Sally Bug. Sally Bug, what are you doing? What are you doing, Sally Bug? Sally Bug. Because on the first like 5 or 10 miles of the run today, I was like, I may just say scratch the trekking poles, man. Screw this, don't want to carry them. I kept tripping over them. Today was my first run and first like hike ever with trekking poles, and so first 5 or 6 miles I was like, man, these are kind of cumbersome. I keep tripping over them, but then I shortened them up just a hair more, and they came in clutch. Definitely could feel a difference. Towards the end of the race, or the run today, I took the vest off and put the trekking poles up, and pretty well ran the last 3 miles. So at like 22 miles in is when I took everything off, and then, ran up to 25. Heart rate got pretty high on those 3 miles, like up in the 190s, but I was, trying to run the uphills then. To be at the halfway point, I was feeling, like I said, a little more fatigue than I would have liked to. Just like a pump in the legs. If I stopped for a few minutes, or, if I stopped and ate a banana or something, I could feel a little bit in the legs. But, at 25 miles mentally, I feel like I have to get to 30. And then once I get to 30, it's like, I don't know what the percentage of the run completion would be at that point. But really, once I feel like I get to 30, I feel like the race is going to be over. Like, there's 2 sections of that race for me. I've got the first 30 and then the second 20. And if I can make it through the first 30, then I think the next 20, although it's going to be harder, mentally I'll already be done with that. Had something else I was gonna say. Oh yeah, compared to actual race day, I was a little underfueled today. So I ate the same breakfast, but I had to, fuel up at my truck on every loop. So I only got to fill up and like eat something every 11 miles. So I had my running vest on with the, water bottles in it. I drank those all the way through on the first lap, and then on the second lap, I drank them 3/4 of the way. So, almost 4 water bottles today, maybe like 3.5 water bottles on a 25-mile run, plus 2 bananas, a little bit of honey, and some bread, which is not very much for a 25-mile run. At least I don't think so. I burned almost 3,000 calories on that run. But on race day, I'll have an aid station anywhere from every 2 to 4 miles. So I'll be able to top off my water and, you know, eat snacks much more frequently than what I was today. So I think that will play a pretty big role in how I feel on race day. You know, I felt like I had to ration today, you know, to make it through the full 11-mile loop. So I'll have that going for me on race day, much more frequent aid stations. And then, so it's probably like, what time did I finish today? It's about 8 hours after my run. Not really feeling a lot of leg soreness now. The calves are a little beat up. Only thing I'm worried about is I've got some pain in my left hip, which is actually my good hip. You know, I injured my right one probably 2 years ago squatting, and it'll pop and get kind of tight and painful every now and then. But my right hip is feeling good. The left one, I don't know if I had twisted it at some point today. You know, didn't bother me until after I got home from the run. So that's kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the course of this week coming. So like I said, 45-mile week for me this week. I'll take tomorrow off, probably take Blue for a walk, and then I'll do another 10-mile run, not walking the uphills, but a full-on 10-mile run next Saturday. That'll be right at 2 weeks out from the race. So I'll get in, you know, 10 miles on the race course, and that'll be my last long run. And then after that, I'll start tapering down on the distance during the runs. I'm only shooting for about 25 miles next week. So looking forward to some recovery work and some more time, man. These 40-mile weeks are taking up so much time. You get off work, run, come home, eat supper, take a shower, and go to bed. So I'm ready to start seeing some more time on my plate, more free time. But with that being said, I'm gonna go in and get some rest because it is almost 9 o'clock. So catch you guys next week.